Hi, so what I have here is a generic brand set of knives from Amazon.com, and I'm going to show you each and every knife, and then at the end I'm going to show you the difference side by side between these knives and the Chicago Cutlery Essentials set. So let me go ahead and show you how these knives look here. So the reason why I got this particular set was because I actually thought aesthetically it looked pretty good. You could see that it's wood grained, but also it has like these special dimples. So I'm gonna pull out the Santoku, and you can see right here that there's a lot of these kind of like random dimples that basically make it looks like it's like forged from an ironsmith, like right away from an ironsmith. So like even though in person these dimples do not look like what they look like in the pictures, in the sense that in the pictures they always have a dark shadow. So for example here, these pictures have a dark shadow that makes it look a little bit more black steel or carbon-like, but in reality when you actually receive them, these are all silver, but it still looks good. Now with this particular Santoku, there's no slots, you know, those oval circles at the bottom, because right here is the uneven dimple look. So right here you could see how thick this blade is, especially thick. Now this entire set cost $50, which is a great deal. You know, judging by just the look of it, you could see how these look very high quality. Now this is wood grain that's kind of laminated, has that orange, red, fiery look to it. And it has great weight. So just to give you different angles of the knife itself. So this is the most important knife, which is why I'm concentrating on this particular knife. Now it has a good balance to it. So if I balance this on, you know, one finger here, you know, you could see it's pretty even. It's evenly balanced. Whereas in some of the other knives, the handle is so light that the blade itself, you know, doesn't have an uneven, you know, a very good feel to it. Now normally you might chop it like this with your knuckles. So, you know, with your knuckles guarding the blade. So, you know, it has a very good feel to it at the center point here. Now just going through the handle itself and the rivets, nice rivet, nice design. And once again, these are smooth and laminated. Now you don't want to put these in the dishwasher. That will actually ruin the blade. With the temperature and all of that, you really do want to wash these and wipe these dry right away. Because even though it says it's, you know, rust proof, that's not true. These things rust very fast if you have like even a drop of water on it. And that was the same with some of the higher end Chicago Cutlery knives that I had, which were, you know, 120 bucks, whereas this is, you know, $50. So this does say it's stainless steel or German stainless steel, and I will have a link in the description area. Now, so much for this knife. Let me pull out the chef's knife. So the chef's knife is an 8-inch knife here, and you can see once again, there's those dimples to it. You can see it's so reflective. You could see the camera and myself in it. Right there. You know, give you another look at the thickness. And also, you know, the handle and the blade. You could see how smooth it is. This is one long piece of metal right there, all the way across, all the way underneath. You know, 3 rivets in the middle, even the handle itself, with the handle itself being wood grained right along there. So you know, so that's the 8-inch chef's knife. That's Santoku. Now here's the paring knife, same design. So this is basically not going to stick to the meat because it has these basically ridges, uneven air holes and ridges. This is just as thick as the Santoku knives. And just going across the bread knife, like so, with its serrated edge. And so these are really sharp knives. So when you're using it, be careful to, basically not cut yourself. I think people will be very surprised. Now these dimples are a lot more pronounced on this knife. So right there, here's the last knife. And once again, the handle itself. And before I go to the steak knives, it has, so the scissor is probably the cheapest one of all, but of course these scissors you could buy, different ones that are basically compatible with that hole. So now there is a can opener, which is kind of nice, and then these clamps in the middle. And then it has a sharpener, just your normal everyday sharpener, so they do skimp. And then the block is actually pretty nice. I'm gonna just rotate it. And actually, let me show you the steak knives. So the steak knives also have like a good weight to it. It doesn't feel all that cheap. And once again, I'm gonna show you the Chicago Cutlery knives side by side, the beginner set essentials, because they're in the same price class. Now this is definitely well worth the value for the money. And now just to show you the block, the cheesy part about it is this emblem, but you can't really tell what it is. Basically it says Elegant Life. And these knives are heavy compared to the Chicago Cutlery. You can see this block. It's kind of like a, cherry stained look to it. All right, now I'm going to show you the Chicago Cutlery essentials side by side. So right away, these are both 15. You could see, the difference in size here. Now the essentials is also in its same price class. These are both $50 sets. Now you could just tell by the handles themselves how small and cheap these are compared to this. So let me just pull out the steak knives and show you side by side, just how cheap looking and how thin these are compared to this. So this is at least, I want to say, 1 millimeter thicker, or even 2 millimeters thicker. You could tell. I'm just gonna like that. And the handles themselves, these are polycarbonate plastic. So both of these are $50 sets. And I will have links in the description area. Now this Chicago Cutlery comes with, the largest knife is the Santoku. So these were the dimples I'm talking about with the Santoku. But it feels cheap, and it's not well balanced because there's no weight to these plastic handles. And then just the second largest knife, the Santoku. So just showing these side by side, one, you have an actual real blade, like a real, almost feels like, it does feel like it's iron forged by a, ironsmith. So you can see the thicknesses of these, not comparable. This generic brand is definitely more heavy duty and doesn't feel cheap. So on the surface though, if you look like this, right, maybe it doesn't look all that bad. I think the Chicago Cutlery, if you're going for the name, fine. They're not any better. You're not getting better knives. In fact, you're getting worse knives. If you're gonna go with these Chicago Cutleries, I would recommend you just go with the Amazon basics, because they're the same quality, which is a lot cheaper than your normal so-called professional knives. I would consider this basically your normal I don't want to say professional, you know, it's not professional, but it's like heavy duty, you know, more heavy duty than what this is right here, you know. So just have to be careful not to cut myself as I'm making. Last thing you want to do is have me bleed all over the place in this video. So but look at the handles side by side. So that's what I'm talking about here, you know. But there you go. That's, you know, I'm not going to rant on and on. I think I've done that enough. You know, check out my other videos where I have the other cheap, like $50 knife sets that are more well worth it than these brand names. I mean, come on, you know, they come from China. They're from the same factories. You know, it's not like any of these are made in the US anymore. So, you know, they're, even this Chicago Cutlery is from China. So, and this particular one's from China too. Both of these are stainless steel, but this definitely looks a lot more heavy duty. In conclusion, I would say, you know, even though they're generic brands, they're higher quality than some of these cheaper brands, and you are getting more for your money. Just look at this. Look at the difference between the thickness of the blades here. And let me zoom in so you can even see how much thicker the steel itself is. But that's really it. That's really what I wanted to mention. I hope this helps. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.